Welcome to the Pilots of Gallaxia Tabletop Simulator tutorial. Players start out with a tablet, a turn reference card that also gives each player their information about their own specific powers once they get their scientist on board, some caravan markers, other pieces, and on the card itself you can see that there are, as I mentioned, a player checklist. On the reverse, there are some rules of engagement, as well as what the other players get if they get their scientist on board, their peace hostage. We also have a tablet that's integrated into Tabletop Simulator that includes a link to the Google Drive PDF document of the rules. And hopefully we'll be getting some comments on these from players in order to improve the game. Moving on now to the basic setup. So as I mentioned, you have some caravan markers that you can see, and you also have two ships that you start with in your hangar. In this case, the purple player, the Edrin player, gets their two ships that they start with. They place them in their hangar. And if you're playing a game that involves points, the basic game doesn't, but you've got a point tracker there where you can use one of your rings for that. The object of the game is to be the first to go and recover your peace hostage being held in the opposite sector on the number 4 planet, and to bring it back as fast as you can. And you can do that a little bit speedier with these yellow squiggly lines called vortexes. A bit of a snakes and ladders reference there. It costs 1 fuel and it can take you fairly quickly to where you need to be. And it also can't be blocked in any way. Bringing the peace hostage ring back home wins the game. Now, there are ways to get things done faster. In this case, this player is coming out of their home hangar. Let's say they have a fuel card of 1, 2, 3, 4, and they play that, and then they fill in the caravan spaces as they go along. What this does is it enables the next ship to be able to use each of those completed trade routes between planet and hangar or planet and planet as a single space. So the owner of that completed quick track can then use, even in this case, their base move of 2, 1, 2. However, they can never co-occupy the same spot, so they would actually need a fuel card of 3 or more to move, and a little bit faster. It's a bit of a leapfrogging effect, especially at the beginning. Now, some of these routes are special. These are the block routes, and they are marked with the yellow marking across the caravan space. And you place your caravans crosswise on them to indicate that it is still owned by you, but other players cannot go past those block routes. What you can do is pass by your own ships, pass by other ships, unless you want to trigger some sort of dispute. And you can also use other people's caravan routes at normal speed, except for these blocked routes. So this purple rocket can't go past that one. At the very center of the board, there are 2 dice, a D6 and a D8. And what these are used for are coordinates, and they're used for a couple of reasons. One is, if in a battle somebody loses a dispute, they roll the 2 dice to see where they flee or warp to. The D6 indicates which sector, and the D8 indicates which planet. One of the elements of the game that seems to be very popular is the card draw, the Gambit. When the player has done their turn, they look at the one exposed card and try to guess whether the next card is higher or lower. And they keep doing this until they are either incorrect or they are correct and they get all 3 cards. In this case, the person started with the 3, they guessed correctly that the next one was higher of 4, and then guessed correctly again that the next one was lower than 4. So the Gambit is a fun way to distribute cards at the end of a turn. If, however, you make a mistake, you stop where you are and you draw 1 card. This allows you, in this case, this person got it incorrectly, and they still get to draw a card. So they still have something that other players can't see, and they come out of it with something. However, if the player gets two cards that are exactly the same. This is a push. The player keeps both cards or all three cards if they have a push, but they cannot continue guessing. Teleporting using the Teleprism system at the center of the board can be a fast way to get where you need to go, or possibly not. In this case, this person, the Garou player, lands on the Teleprism in that sector. They roll the six-sided die, and it tells them that they're back in their own sector. Now, this may lead to either a penalty or a bonus depending on the rules you're playing, but you do have to slide off the prism one space. You can never occupy a prism after the end of your turn. In this case, they rolled a 1 and they go to the Vike sector, the blue sector, and they teleport there. They must again slide off the prism in one of two directions. In this case, this person slides off to the right, and that concludes their turn with a teleprism. Durack and mercenaries are a way for players to either get rid of block routes, because wherever they land, they destroy all of the adjacent caravan routes beside them. And this is when they land on a planet. Now, they can either move leaping from planet to planet or going by 3 subspaces each. But regardless of how they move, when they hit a planet and there's anything attached to it, they destroy those routes, including block routes, as you can see in this case. So these can engage in battle, and they have a separate battle system. They are also shown their allegiance by the ring that is above them. In that prior case, that was a Vike Duracan. Now, the Duracan use these cards, the Duracan mercenary cards, to deploy. So you can use one of these cards once per turn to deploy them to any numbered planet that has that same number on the card. So if it is a 4, then you could deploy this Duracan to a number 4 planet where it would cause destruction, and it could be in any sector. So this is an element of the game that allows you to jump around a little bit with some of your take that. Now, as previously stated, Duracan can land on planets and engage in disputes or battles. If they win a battle and you are playing a numbered or points game, then you must indicate that no more points can be gained by using these markers. The same goes for a ship if they win a battle. If you like the game and you'd like a print and play copy, just visit the website indicated here. I do ask that you make a donation to Schoolbox. However, if you can't, that's no problem. So just to review, you have your card, your character, the rules on a tablet, all of your caravan pieces, and you're basically able to scroll through that. And again, please leave some comments where you see things that are unclear so that I can improve this. As you can see to the left, there is a captain's card. That is if you want to try those out. Those are available to you. There's also an engine card system that I'm experimenting with, and we hope you enjoy Pilots of Gallaxia. Thank you for your time.